Hi, folks. Hello, Redskins Nation. Welcome to the virtual draft experience presented by 7-Eleven. Larry Michael, Fred Smoot, and the head coach of the Redskins, Ron Rivera. Ron, it took a while to get that third pick, but the Redskins have a new Redskin. His name is Antonio Gibson. We just talked to him. Seems like a very impressive individual.
He is very impressive. He's an impressive young man. And he's an impressive football player as well. He's a guy that we really feel that can come in and make an impact early on, whether it be in special teams, be on the offensive side of the ball as a receiver, a runner. And again, if you look at his Memphis tape, you saw him play a little quarterback in their Wildcat alignment. So this is a very multi-talented young man.
That's what I talked to him about just shortly ago, Coach. What did he want to be? Did he want to be a wide receiver, a running back? And he said he just wants to be a weapon. He wants to be used. So when you looked at this kid, did you see Eric Metcalf, Reggie Bush, the running backs that you can use in multiple ways and use as a running back? I mean, as a wide receiver.
Yeah, and very much so. We did see him in the mold of Christian McCaffrey, a guy that Scotty Turner had when we were in Carolina together. Christian's versatility as a runner, as a receiver, out of the backfield or lining him up out in the slot. That's what we see with Antonio. This is a young man that we really feel can do a lot of good things for us.
What impressed you along the way, Coach? Was it his combine workout? We talked to him. He ran very well. Tape obviously plays a big part.
I got to take a call real quick.
Okay.
Well, hey, that's what it's about. Got to keep the business going.
Coach is taking a call. Maybe, hey, you never know, Fred.
We might be trading back into the third. I don't want to start no rumors, but hey.
I don't know. We'll see. We have no idea what the call is about, but this is live on the air. And again, don't forget, tomorrow night, Saturday night, 6 o'clock, our big draft weekend party, the virtual draft party, right here on the Redskins social media platforms. And in fact, coming up in a little bit later, we just talked to Antonio Gibson. Antonio Gibson, the wide receiver running back out of Memphis. Very impressive individual. And Fred, he told us that his parents are from the Washington, D.C. area. Another DMVer.
I've been saying, you got to love this, man. I'm loving bringing the homeboys home. At the end of the day, that gives them something else to play for. All right, we already paid to play the game. You already love the game. Now you playing with some self-respect. You want to represent your area. This means these kids been looking at the Redskins all of their life wanting to be a part of this. It's easy for you to say that's my favorite team after you draft me. But if these guys felt this beforehand, they're going to play with an unmeasurable passion. Like, could you even imagine that first game at FedEx Field when Chase Young walks out there on that field, the field he's been looking at for decades? It's going to be unimaginable energy in there. And Antonio Gibson, he's just bringing the family back together too. So maybe we can throw a Bryce in there from Virginia. I know he was injured this year, but hey, throw a cornerback in there. Keep the guys at home. I'm with it.
I think a master of the obvious. I want to ask you, Fred Smoot, a question. Last year it was Bryce Love. He came on board. He's rehabbed. He was a fourth-round pick. Mm-hmm. Of course, you have Darius, you have AP, you have a couple of free agent acquisitions. And if Mr. Gibson is a running back per se, this seems like a very crowded room. Competition at the running back position is just going to be incredible this offseason. For the Redskins running backs. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's great because you got to look at it. Let's look at the room for what it is. We have the old horse, the Hall of Famer in there. We got to ask ourselves truthfully. We know he can still run it, but how many more miles? We have Geis, a guy that shows a lot of promise. That's when he's healthy. All right, now we got Bryce Love. He's the unknown. He's your wild card. With the last time I checked, when he was at Stanford, he was everything that coach is looking for in a running back. He can break the long runs. He can catch passes out of the backfield. He's the guy we don't know. J.D. McKissick, we got him. He's a guy that does a little bit of everything. And then you bring a guy like Antonio Gibson in here. He's a weapon. He's a guy that's going to spend half his time in the receiver room, half his time in the running back room. So that makes it hard for us on defense when you run a guy out here like that. We don't know where he's going to line up. Forces us to play a lot more zone when he's in the game.
And a little Wildcat quarterback as well. So the Redskins, Ron Rivera told us at the Combine, he told us before the Combine, position versatility is really important to him. We've seen it in a couple of instances. The first guard signed by the Redskins, a free agent, Wes Schweitzer, plays both guard positions, plays a little center as well. You see this in a lot of positions the Redskins have brought on board, and you're going to see it with Antonio Gibson. Now, honestly, I don't know that much about him. I just talked to him. You're going to see that a little bit later this evening right here on this exclusive virtual draft report brought to you by 7-Eleven. But this is an impressive individual. And to run that fast, got a track background, He's strong. He weighs 228 pounds. And before you thought he was a running back, you were comparing him to somebody else, a pretty well-known wide receiver in your day.
Yeah, Anquan Bolton, another receiver that used to play a lot of running back. The one thing about Anquan Bolton, you couldn't get him down. Once he caught the ball, he was a running back, just like I think this kid is going to be.
The coach is back. Coach, do you have time to join us again?
Yeah, real quick.
Okay. Well,
Work, coach. Work, coach.
We'll take it because you never know what's happening during the draft. If you have to leave, we'll let you go now. We appreciate your time, Coach. And maybe a final comment on Antonio Gibson, third-round pick for the Redskins. Looking forward to meeting that young man.
I do too. I look forward to seeing him again. He's a very dynamic player. Got an opportunity to watch him on a lot of tape. Very, very intriguing player. A guy that's going to come in and impact us very early, Larry. Just excited to have him on our football team.
And also, Coach, he's an ex-JUCO player. I also played Mississippi JUCO, so I know he's tough. I know he's been through the ringer. Also, I want to think, if the kid had to work on anything, would you think it would be his pass blocking out of the backfield? He wasn't asked to do that a lot at Memphis.
Yes, that's probably one weakness when you're watching his complete game. I mean, he's got a complete game, but he does got to improve his blocking because, again, he may be in there where he's got to do a little bit of blocking. But, again, he's a try-hard guy. He's a physical football player. And with the ball in his hand, he's a true running back.
Coach, appreciate the time. Maybe your night is not over, and we'll talk to you real soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Keep working, Coach. Keep working.
Hey, I mean, this is the epitome. You know what? We started the night, Fred. We had a little audio glitch, but this is really cool. When you got a live show like this streaming on the Redskins social media platforms, you have the coach. He's got to leave to take a phone call. I was expecting to come back and announce a trade to us, Fred, right here on the show.
Yes. We wish we could have got this, but I like how Coach is working. He's not going to let an interview stop him from working. He need to pick up the phone. We don't know what he had to pick up the phone about, but we know it had something to do with the Washington Redskins, and that's all that matters. I see he's really doing a lot of investigation on the guys that he's drafting. He's just not going out drafting the best player available. He's drafting football players that can play, like he said, multiple positions, because, with a 53-man roster, you never know who's going to get hurt, who's going to have to step up. When you get a guy like Antonio Gibson, if a receiver is hurt, he becomes your starting receiver. If a running back is hurt, he becomes your starting running back. That's a lot of versatility, especially when you want to talk about a guy that returns kicks also.
Fred, you know what's going to happen here is people have been watching this, and we're going to say goodbye here and going to come back in about 15 minutes with that third-round pick, Antonio Gibson. I'm telling you, social media, the question is, who called Ron Rivera? Who was it who called Ron Rivera as he was on the virtual draft experience presented by 7-Eleven? Coming up, we'll be back in about 15, 20 minutes with the third-round pick, Antonio Gibson. Thanks for joining us.